Hey guys, this is Styles, and this is going to be round 2 between Select, spawning as Red Terran, and his opponent is going to be TSL Killer. This is going to be from the IEM Extreme Masters Cup. So, you know, last game was insane on Tall Rim Altar. Really crazy play by Select, if you were asking me. And so now I'm excited to be casting these two games. Really excited how these two players are going to duke it out. And the map is going to be Metalopolis. And while this game gets in the way, let me put out my 2 cents about Blizzard and what I feel like they're doing wrong with their ladder these days. They do talk about it in State of the Game, so if you guys have watched that, it's going to be a little bit of old news, I guess. But I really question Blizzard choice making with their ladder maps. The fact is that they're taking out more and more maps that are going to be that are still being used in tournaments. Like Metalopolis is no longer in the map pool, but at the same time they're putting in all these weird maps that also aren't being used in tournament maps. And it's really weird because tournaments love to use maps like especially GSL, like Belshire Beach and Dual Site and all that good stuff. And at the same time, Blizzard, instead of accepting those maps and putting those into the ladder map pool, instead they make things like Nazarene Crypt or something like that, and like Antigua Shipyard, which aren't really used in tournaments these days. And I'm really, like, you know, I'm just a ladder guy. Who am I to like question Blizzard? I know, but at the same time, I would just love to be able to verse opponents on maps like Belshire Beach and Dual Site and off the ladder, instead of just having to custom game and not really have my games count as for my ladder points. And also at the same time, it really sucks that pros can't really use the ladder that much anymore to practice for their matches, mostly because, well, oh whoa, it looks like there's also going to be an early Nexus for Killer. But back to the map thing. It's sad that the pros can no longer use the ladder to practice. I know that they usually use their own practice partners on custom maps as it is, but at the same time, pros do like to use the ladder every once in a while, you know, just to see opponents reacting to builds and stuff like that, and to practice random builds that they would like to try and not like show to their partners like right off the bat. You know, trying to refine a build on the ladder is pretty common, but at the same time, they really won't be able to if the Battle.net ladder is like no longer like taking accountability for the maps that are going to be in the tournament. I don't know, it's just a little bit of me griping, I guess, but at the same time, we'll see how Blizzard addresses this issue, and see if in season 3 they will add more tournament maps. Anyway, this game is going to be going underway, and Killer once again is going to be going for that early Nexus. Really questionable on this map because the choke is so wide open and there's so many avenues of attack. You know, Select could also come down the ramp and do a lot of damage. Looks like Select once again is going to be putting down the bunker, and the Marine is going to be in position this time, and we'll be able to do a lot of damage if Killer is not ready. Killer is actually going to be pulling enough probes to do a lot of damage, so we'll most likely be able to put an end to this, no problem at all. Good surround on the Marine. Actually, the Marine is actually able to get out alive, was able to pick off one probe and another probe, but that Marine will fall. We'll be seeing if this second Marine will be falling as well. It looks like he will be microing that Marine away, but at the same time, because the probes were focused on the Marine, he will be able to finish his bunker by the looks of it. Will he be able to focus on the SCV in time? Looks like the SCV will be able to finish the bunker, but at the last minute, the Marine was not able to get in. Select we'll have to salvage this bunker. This bunker will be salvaged, no problem at all. So now Killer is actually in a pretty good position with this expansion out. And if we look at Select space, he is going to be throwing that Tech Lab on that factory, and also be getting the Starport out at the same time. If we look at a refinery, he is getting double refinery at this point, which makes me wonder if he's going to go for like Cloaked Banshees at this point in the game. We might also see, looks like the factory is actually going to lift off and land, so the Tech Lab is going to be open for that Starport. We might see some Cloaked Banshees at this point in the game. Also, we might see Ravens, because Ravens in a Terran versus Protoss is actually very strong. That point defense run will be able to lock down any sort of Stalker play in the late game or in the mid game. So we'll see if it's going to be a Raven or Cloaked Banshees. Most likely Banshees, as yes, it is going to be a Banshee because of the spawn locations. He will be able to capitalize on this Banshee because they did spawn Cloak's Air. But at this time, looks like Killer does want to put on some pressure with the initial Stalker and Zella. Another Stalker is going to be reinforcing. High ground sighted will mean that this Stalker will be able to start blasting away at the Marines as well. And now this Stalker Zealot combination will be able to start knocking on the front door of Select. Does Select have enough to deal with this? He will be losing one more Marine in this exchange. He is trying to focus on one more Stalker, but lose that Marine in the process as well. SCVs are going to be pulled off the line to try and make sure that this door does not fall. Trying to micro back that one SCV, but will lose that as well. Losing another SCV in that exchange. These Marines are trying to dart forward and trying to pick off that Stalker, but Another Marine will fall, and that Stalker will remain safe. Really good play by Killer at this point, but Select is going to be moving out with that Banshee, trying to do as much damage as possible, trying to push this back with this Banshee. Was able to pick off that one Stalker in the end, and now we'll be losing that Banshee though. So now, Select is against the ropes at this point in time. Killer is going to be pushing this with a lot of forces, able to pick up that one supply depot. Select is going to be losing that supply depot, and will mean he needs to rebuild that as soon as possible in case he does get supply block. He is at 36 over 43, but with this reactor and this Banshee coming out, he will eventually get supply block really soon. So we'll have to work on that supply depot to finish off that wall off. And I know that sounds like pretty obvious. You're like, oh, he's going to have to work on that supply depot. But what I mean is, if he lost 100 minerals worth of Marines, he technically does not have to get those Marines up as soon as possible, you know? He doesn't really need that defense, but, you know, he needs to remake that supply depot. It's a very vital structure, so the fact he lost that is going to be crucial instead of losing, let's say, 100 minerals worth of Marines. So, just my opinion on that, and looks like the Banshee is going to be going out. No cloak at this point, but there's going to be a lot of Stalkers in position. Select might be losing this Banshee to those, but good sightage and good game sense will mean that he did see those Stalkers in position and will just fly that Banshee back. I would like to see him cancel this Banshee at this point. There's just way too many Stalkers out in this game. These Banshees will be worthless in the later points of the game. He wants that Raven, if you were to ask me. If you work on that Raven and get that PDD, you will be able to shut down any sort of aggression with Stalkers. But Select is going to be flying around with this Banshee, getting that macro control that he needs. But Killer has been on this base for a while now. Killer effectively on 2 bases will be able to do a lot of damage if he gets that Colossus tech up as well, or anything like that. 2 bases is going to be really devastating against this against Select's 1 base. He also does have that Twilight Council up. Wondering if he's going to get Blink, which would be, I guess, ideal. The fact is he has a lot of Stalkers out, and if he had Blink, he would be able to take care of these Banshees no problem at all. Banshee is going to try and fly away from these Stalkers. Will be safe most likely. And now this Banshee is going to fly on out of here. We are going to see a proxy pylon being thrown by Killer. So does he plan to do a lot of damage with this? Banshee is going to fly and get 3 kills, but he might get picked off at the last minute. 20 HP on this. Looks like she will be able to fly out of there with no problem, but the gateways are going to be up, and the proxy pylon also is going to finish. There's going to be a lot of Stalkers out at this point in the game. Select really needs to start sieging up his tanks for this, and it looks like he wants to push out at this point. I'm not quite sure if that'll be the best choice. He's going to scan and pick up that observer, but Killer is going to be in a devastating position if these siege tanks are caught out of position. Looks like the siege tanks aren't going to be ready, and he's just going to siege up right now, losing 1 siege tank from Killer. Killer was able to snipe that siege tank, and once again Select going to be pulling off a lot of SCVs at this point in the game, and I would like to see him start repairing these Banshees. These Banshees are going to be so weak in the air when they start engaging. Looks like Killer will in fact be able to pick up 1 more siege tank, and now does Killer want to push this and try and push into the base of Select, or will he decide to defend? It looks like Select instead is going to defend, and oh, there's just really bad dancing by Select and Killer. They're not really quite sure if they want to go for the attack and go for a base race, or what type of situation it is. Looks like Select is going to be moving out with a bunch of Marines, trying to put on the hurt with that. 3 Banshees are going to be in the base of Select though. Select is going to try and push it out with Banshees. There's also going to be 2 siege tanks in the base of Select ready to defend. So now Select is going to be trying to move out with these SCVs and Marines, but this time Killer does have a huge army of Zealots and Stalkers to defend this. I'm really pretty much sure that Select will not be able to do enough damage at this time. A lot of Banshees are going to be rolling in though. Will they be doing enough damage to these Zealots? Zealots are going to be picked away by the SCVs and the Marines. Zealots are going to fall, but Stalkers are going to be blinking back. And there's going to be that 1 siege tank sieging up, but will not be able to do enough damage. Stalker's going around for a pincer maneuver, getting a good surround at this point. There's going to be a good surround, and Select is going to GG out of round 2. There's going to go on to round 3, an ace match between these 2 players. See you guys in round 3. What an epic game. Woo! Excited as hell. Let's do this.